My bully got expelled, and I'm still shocked my fake screenshot held up. I was eating lunch alone in the library when Principal Hawkins found me. That walk she does when someone's in serious trouble. My heart stopped. She sat down across from me and said, "Derek, we need to talk about what you submitted to the counselor yesterday. The screenshots. Bryce Whitmore's parents are threatening legal action." I felt my hands go cold because those screenshots weren't real. I made them in Photoshop at 2 a.m. after the worst day of my life. But here's what actually happened 24 hours earlier. Bryce had been tormenting me since freshman year, shoving me into lockers, spitting in my food, calling me slurs I won't repeat. But yesterday he crossed a line. He found out about my younger brother's speech impediment and recorded himself mocking it, posted it to his 800 followers with my brother's face clearly visible. My 11-year-old brother, a 6th grader who did nothing to anyone. I reported it to the school. They said since it happened off campus, their hands were tied. I showed my mom. She called the principal. Nothing. Bryce's dad coaches varsity football and donated the new weight room. Untouchable. That night, I sat in my room listening to my brother cry through the wall. He kept asking why someone would be so mean to him when he never even met Bryce. Something in me just broke. I opened Photoshop and spent 4 hours creating fake DMs. Messages where Bryce threatened to hurt me physically. Detailed stuff. Timestamps, profile picture, everything matching his actual account. I knew it was wrong. I knew it was probably illegal, but I also knew no one was going to protect us. I submitted them to the school counselor first thing the next morning with shaking hands. Now Principal Hawkins was staring at me like I'd confessed to murder. Bryce is claiming these messages are fabricated. His family hired a digital forensics expert. My stomach dropped through the floor. I was done. Expelled. Maybe arrested. But then she pulled out her tablet. "Before we go further, I want you to see something." She turned the screen toward me. It was Bryce's actual Instagram DMs, not mine, real ones. Pulled directly from the app by the school's IT department after they got a warrant. Messages where Bryce bragged to his friends about making my life hell. Messages planning to jump me after school on Friday. Messages calling me and my brother disgusting names. A thread where he laughed about how untouchable he was because of his dad. "We cross-referenced with your screenshots," Principal Hawkins said quietly. "Yours don't match exactly. Different wording, different timestamps." I couldn't breathe. She knew they were fake. I opened my mouth to confess everything, to beg for mercy, but she held up her hand. "However, when we investigated your claims, we found something much worse. Your fabricated evidence led us to real evidence. Evidence of systematic harassment, threats of violence, and organized bullying going back 3 years. Bryce wasn't just targeting you." She pulled up a folder on her tablet. 15 other students had come forward in the last 24 hours once they heard Bryce was being investigated. Kids who'd been too scared to report him. A girl he'd stalked for months. A boy he'd sent to the hospital and claimed it was an accident. My fake screenshots had cracked open something massive. "The forensics expert confirmed your screenshots aren't authentic," she continued. "But given what we discovered, and the fact that you're a minor who was clearly desperate for help the system failed to provide, we're not pursuing action against you. We're calling it a misguided cry for help that accidentally exposed a predator." Bryce's dad burst into the office 20 minutes later, screaming about lawsuits and his attorney. Principal Hawkins calmly handed him printouts of his son, threatening to bring a weapon to school. The color drained from his face. She told him Bryce was expelled effective immediately, and that police were waiting outside to discuss the threats. I watched through the glass as 2 officers escorted Bryce out in handcuffs while his dad stood frozen in the hallway. My brother started smiling again 3 weeks later. Bryce is facing criminal charges. I still think about the fact that I technically committed fraud, and that it only worked because Bryce was actually worse than I pretended. I got lucky.